So, let's talk about architecture, but probably not the kind you're thinking of. We're not talking about blueprints and buildings. We're talking about the architecture of a life that's actually well spent. And you know who our master builder is for this? None other than Benjamin Franklin. He was a guy who really understood that our most precious building material isn't stone or steel, it's time.
You know that feeling, right? You get to the end of the day, maybe the end of the week, and you just have this nagging sense of, where did all the hours go? It's like our attention has 100 tiny leaks, the endless scrolling, the constant notifications, and we're left just wondering what we actually built with our day.
But here's what's really wild. This is not a new problem. This feeling of lost time, it isn't unique to our digital age. Almost 300 years ago, Benjamin Franklin put it so simply, so bluntly. Lost time is never found again. It's a stark truth, and it gets right to the heart of the whole thing.
Okay, so let's get into Franklin's blueprint. He wasn't just a politician or an inventor. The man was obsessed with personal productivity. He really did see his life as this grand construction project. And his days, those were the building blocks. And the plans he drew up are, amazingly, still so useful today.
And this, right here, is the core idea. For Franklin, time wasn't just a calendar you had to manage. No, it was the actual fabric of life itself. Think of it like a loom. Every single hour is a thread, and you're weaving the person you're becoming. So to waste time, well, that wasn't just inefficient. It was literally an act of self-sabotage.
So, if time is our most valuable asset, what are its biggest enemies? Franklin had this brilliant way of thinking about it. He said that the biggest taxes we pay in our lives don't go to the government. Nope, they're the taxes we impose on ourselves. In his famous essay, The Way to Wealth, he really breaks it down. He says, look, the government might take 1/10 of our time or our money, but then look at what we do to ourselves. We tax ourselves twice as much by our idleness, 3 times as much by our pride, and 4 times as much by our folly. I mean, wow. These self-imposed burdens are where we truly lose the game. Let's start with that first tax, idleness, or sloth. Franklin's metaphor for this is just perfect. He compared sloth to rust. Just think about that for a second. A tool doesn't wear out from being used nearly as fast as it decays from just sitting there, neglected. It's the same with us. Our skills, our potential, they don't just sit still, they corrode. As he said, the used key is always bright.
And this has real consequences. The poverty he's talking about here, it isn't just about money. It's a poverty of achievement, a poverty of experience, of meaning. When we're just sitting idle, we're not just standing still. We're actually falling behind on the life we could be living.
So, if idleness is the disease, what's the cure? Well, for Franklin, the answer was beautifully simple: industry. And he didn't just mean being busy, not at all. He meant being purposefully engaged. That is the antidote to the heavy, self-imposed tax of sloth.
I love this idea so much. Action, what Franklin called industry, is what pays off our debts. You know, the debt of procrastination, the debt of all those missed opportunities. It's a direct counterattack against despair, which just loves to grow in the empty spaces that inaction leaves behind.
So how did Franklin actually put this into practice every day? His routine was built on a few really simple principles. Number 1, rise early and grab the day before it grabs you. 2, set a clear intention by asking yourself, what good shall I do this day? 3, be proactive. I love how he put it. Drive thy business, let not that drive thee. And finally, number 4, act now, because one today is worth 2 tomorrows.
Now, let's be super clear. Franklin wasn't against rest. Not at all. He just made this really sharp distinction between leisure and laziness. Leisure, he said, is earned. It's the restorative time you take to do something else that's also useful. Laziness, on the other hand, is just empty time. It's that rust we were talking about earlier just eating away at you.
And all of this brings us right back to that central idea, that powerful metaphor of architecture. Look, this isn't about feeling guilty for wasting time. It's about recognizing our incredible power as the architects of our own lives. Just think about it. Every choice you make, that's a tool in your hand. Every single hour that passes, that's a block of stone. The life you have right now, that's the structure you've been building all along. So the only real question is, what kind of structure is it going to be? Are you building something magnificent, or are you just letting the materials crumble?
So, what's the practical blueprint we can walk away with? How do we actually start applying this wisdom like today? Well, it really just comes down to 3 key actions.
First, we got to start treating our time like the precious, non-renewable resource it is. Second, we need to do an honest audit of our own hidden taxes. Where are you losing time to idleness or distraction? Be honest. And third, embrace industry. Recognize that purposeful action is the engine that actually builds the life you say you want.
Let's end with the question Franklin himself asked. He wasn't just being poetic here. This is a direct challenge to every single one of us. Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for that's the stuff life is made of. If you really love your life, then you have to honor the very material it's built from. Go build something that lasts.